So yes, initially it was weird. In fact, the very first day I signed them, I was just laughing at myself that I have been a drama in the act too. So
Wow.
in 3 months, January to March 2015, by God's grace, I learned American Sign Language. Like 3 months. 3 months. Hello, welcome to another beautiful, wonderful episode on Tonic with the Father. I'm so glad that today we're making it a date again on this platform. I appreciate God for this privilege. I do not take it for granted at all. Every time I have the opportunity to shoot a new video, it's such a honor to me. I thank God for this privilege. I thank you for always tuning in. Thank you because I have the assurance of your support. Thank you because you keep me working all the time. You keep me working all the time to, provide good content as God will have it. And I'm particularly excited about this episode because I remember last year, I think September 23, I posted on my Facebook. It was World Sign Language Day. And I remember I posted asking if people would like to, no, was it Facebook or my WhatsApp platform? If people would like to have me share my story on how and the entire journey on my sign language experience, and there was a lot of positive comments. People, yes, let's hear. I want to know, how did you start, how are you able to do it, how did you learn, where did you learn, questions like that. And every once in a while when people get to know that, oh, you sign, they're like, did you study special education, how did you learn, where did you learn, do you have a deaf family member? Questions like that always come up, and I'm so glad that today I'll be able to share with you some light on this journey. Please come along with me, stay tuned to the end, and it will definitely bless you. So, today, my American Sign Language journey. I know that you know that there are many languages all over the world, but did you know that there are like 6,500 languages? Like, not 650 languages. 6,500 languages that human beings speak all over the world every day. That's amazing. And I can take you back to the story of the origin of the differences in languages at the Tower of Babel. And that just shows us that God is the originator of languages. God is a very creative God. He's so vast, he's so dynamic. And yes, American Sign Language is just one out of the very many languages that there are that exist. So come along with me. Now, remember I mentioned that I learned sign language in 3 months, and that is like, looking back, it's like, oh, that was great. And really, of course, it's not by my power. Like, I don't think I'm that smart, but I know it was a function of grace. And much more importantly, like we mentioned in the last video, it's a function of purpose also. It's a function of reason, it's a function of why. you know the intention you have behind anything will go a long way in how much grace God gives, especially when it relates with his children. Why do you want to know this thing? What do you really have in mind? What do you seek to derive from this opportunity if I give to you, kind of thing? Now, I want to point to us that learning sign language, I believe, just like any other language, is first a function of your mind. Now, I know people are like, okay, am I left brained, or like, is my brain at the left or at the right? All those things we talk about as to how somebody can be more creative in this aspect or have more apt in learning things. I want us to like forget about that one first of all and have an open mind. Like, to me, I believe anybody can actually learn any language. Moreover, sign language is such a practical, grammatic language. Other languages you are speaking orally, but this one is like you are acting more of the time. So it's a very interesting language, very interesting, like actually very interesting. And indirectly, many times we all have that tendency to act out our intentions instead of speaking it out. But this sign language is more of a standardized system such that is universal. So hearing impaired people all over the world who are trained in this particular type of sign language are able to understand when another person, communicates it to them. Yes, but the big factor, like I mentioned before, is purpose. So I'm asking, why are you interested in learning sign language? And it's good to know that when God has a stake in whatever you are doing, He will make grace available. So back to my story. In 2015, I attended a Sunday service in my church, and it happened that I just decided to sit at the sign language corner. So we have some hearing impaired brethren in my church, and apparently, because I was in the boarding house for the past 6 years before that time, people didn't quite know me, right? So it happens that I'm the child of a pastor, or I'm the child of the pastor, but apparently I was such a quiet and in okay, apparently I was really quiet, so a lot of people did not know me, and I don't think I have like the carbon copy of either of my parents' face. So quite a number of people did not know me with them. And I sat at this sign language corner that fateful Sunday, and during the service, the leader called me and asked me why I was sitting there. I was quite embarrassed, like, this is not church, can't anybody sit anyway? Like, in my mind, I was like, oh, really, why? And I apparently did not know that it was a special corner. I knew, of course, there were the hearing impaired brethren there, but that there's this, like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know about this, and I apologize. I said, no problem, but the next time I should not sit there. And of course, that just distracted my flow of thoughts in the message of that day. So I was just like so self-conscious. Why did I come to sit down here? I was just thinking of like 100 things at the same time. But I was going to have it before the service ended. I got so focused on the interpretation that was going on. And I was like, oh, see the way these interpreters' hands are moving so skillfully. I was so thrilled. I'm like, oh, it won't be a bad idea to really know how to do this thing. Like looking at the passion of whoever is preaching and looking at these special brethren who are unable to hear what the preacher is trying to pass across, I felt like these people are disadvantaged in that sense. But somebody could be so skilled to be able to communicate not just the words but the expressions, to bring to life that which the preacher or the speaker is trying to say, to make it so real to the special brethren that they're able to also be blessed from that service. I was like, okay, it won't be a bad idea if I learn this thing. So after the service, I went back to the leader and I asked her, is it possible for me to learn? And she said, okay, there's no problem, but I have to be serious with it, and they meet once a week. I'm like, okay, I think I just got into university or something like that. Anyway, I wasn't too engaged. There was really no reason why I could not. I was interested, so I started attending the classes, and that is how my story began. So the purpose or the passion behind my wanting to learn the language was to be able to help or assist these people to benefit from the service, because we take for granted many times that you come to service and you can hear. Some other people are passionate, zealous to worship God, but they are unable to flow because they cannot just hear for no reason of theirs. Some are born with that need. Some along the line lost their ability to hear for very, very many reasons why these people are the way they are. But should they be left out because of that? No. So I think God saw that I was actually passionate about being able to be an instrument to reach to them, and He made grace available to me. So my purpose in learning sign language was actually very mission oriented. It was such that I wanted to be able to bring God's word as directly as possible. So this special need brethren, and God made grace available to me. Now, in my sign language journey, I would like to point some things to us to help us to say that it's not beans actually. It's not beans. It requires your all. First of all, I said it begins from the heart. So your openness to learn, and to adjust is very important. Your all, it requires your commitment, your dedication. You need to endure, you need to make sacrifices. Like it's not always convenient. So it will actually require a lot from you. But at the end of the day, it is worth it. I was attending classes every week. Like I never really got bored. No, I don't think so. I never got bored. I enjoyed I enjoyed it. Now again, it comes from a place of love because, like I said, the purpose behind every action is very important. So I could see that there was this love growing in me towards these people. So that was like I didn't have to. It wasn't because I needed it. Like up until after, before I really okay, it's good to have multiple languages, to be bilingual, to be multilingual, to be polyglot, learn. That wasn't it for me. It wasn't a factor at all. It was just I want to be able to reach these ones with the love of Christ. So that place of love battered energy, battered zeal, because along the line also there will be discouragement. That's the truth. But if you remember that this is where you're coming from and this is why you started this journey in the first place, you'll be able to move along the line and flow. Now it requires a lot of practice. I can't overemphasize this. Like practice, I think any language does, but this one particularly, because this is action oriented. So I remember that when I started learning, I would be speaking to myself and my fingers are moving. We would be having a conversation and my fingers are moving. I'm not like, you may not know, but I'm trying to pick, okay, this word, the ones I'm unable to sign, I write it down, I ask, or I browse the internet. No, that wasn't the internet. No, I don't think I was even checking internet at the time. But I will ask my leader, I'll go back to my notes, and it was just practice all the time. Family devotions. It got so weird that like it was just part of me. We'll be singing songs and my hands are moving. Looking back, I'm like, oh, that was a great way to learn. But it was just because the love and the zeal for it was just in my heart. And little did I know that that was actually part of what really reinforced the knowledge in me. Like for me to be able to get the mastery of it in such a little time, like 3 months, that was God's grace. Yes, but it required a lot of practice too, I must confess. It required a lot of practice. So, like I said, it requires a lot of practice. And the Bible says that whatever a man sows, that will he reap. So, if you want to learn and you're not practicing, like, I don't know, you are probably going to take a very long time before you know it. And I mean, I understand that we are graced differently. God has given us skills. He gave to one, he gave to another two, he gave to another five. Yes, but also whatever you plant, whatever you use will be multiplied. So if God gives you one and you don't use it, how do you think that it will be fair on your part to accuse God of being unfair to somebody who has 2 or 5 talents when you've not used the one you have? So yes, practice is very key. Practice with friends, alone, practice at every opportunity, and don't be shy because yes, sign language, you need chests. If you are a shy person like I was, I think I'm not shy, yeah, but it requires a lot of boldness at the point, because I remember there were some words that were so like the sign of those words. Let me adjust my jacket very well. You want to sign us like us, or we, or are, and the position of your hand is across your chest, and I'm like, why? There were other words like that that were quite embarrassing. Yes, but you can't be shy because this was God's work and I needed to do it with my whole heart. So yes, initially it was weird. In fact, the very first day I signed them, I was just laughing at myself that I have been a drama in the act too. Well, knowing that people were being blessed kept me going. And yes, the first time I signed, wasn't like I was prepared. There was a need. So the person that was on duty wasn't around for that service, and none of the interpreters were around as of that time. So one of the ushers who had been seeing me attend the class told me that, oh, your brethren are here and there's nobody to sign. You've been attending classes. Why don't you sign for this person? I'm like, you see? But looking at him like, okay, I'm not actually that good yet. But I mean, these were worship songs that were going on. So I was like, okay, at least I will be able to pick it. And as I got on that podium, my brethren, was like heaven opened. I seriously, it's such an experience that I can't forget in a while. I don't know where the grace came from. I could just see my hands flowing, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm actually not doing bad. And I could see the feedback on their face. They were, because they were actually surprised, like a first timer. And as soon as I spotted our leader come, I just came down. And she was like, okay, continue. But you've not, like, we're supposed to write tests. So had not written my final test. And maybe I had 2 tests or so before the final. And I had not written those tests. So she was like, okay, actually, I'm not eligible to sign yet. But I did well. So, like, in the moment, I'm like, okay, yes, thank you, ma. And that was it. So from that time, there was this bond that ticked within me towards hearing impaired. And every time I wanted to sign afterwards, I could see the encouragement. They were so thrilled to know that somebody was, like, a young person, actually. I was really young, was eager to sign to them, and yes, it was amazing. Another thing to note is that you don't need to pressure yourself with unrealistic expectations. So when I was learning, I actually didn't have a target, to be honest. I was just like freestyling. I knew I wanted to be able to sign in the shortest possible time, but I didn't give myself 1 month or 2 months. No, I didn't. I was just cruising along, but I was eager to learn and learn and learn. But I didn't quite have unrealistic expectations that, okay, I must be able to sign like those we see on TV. No, was just cool, and I think that really helped me. So I wasn't under pressure. I was just enjoying the process and growing with it. And even when I began to sign, I noticed that, okay, I could actually sign to them, but to understand when they are signing back at me, because of course communication is two-way. You want to have a conversation, you're not just speaking to them, they also want to tell you stuff. So I saw that I could sign to them, but when it comes to understanding them sign to me, it was a different thing. It was a challenge because I felt they were too fast, and before I could pick words to make sense of the sentence, given that also many times their English is not as fluent as ours, so there could be grammatical issues with the sentence. Like, it was quite a challenge, to be honest. But even then, I didn't give myself pressure. I was only praying, because yes, prayer works in anything and in everything. I was asking God for grace. I'm like, God, how will I be signing to these people? And I can't get, like, it was not complete. Yes, so I prayed, and I thank God for releasing grace, such that now we can have conversations and we understand each other. Yeah. Seize every opportunity you have. When you're learning, you won't become a pro overnight. You won't become a master in it overnight. But every opportunity you have to serve, or you may not have the podium or the platform yet, but you can have one-on-one conversations with people on the streets. You can, in fact, evangelism. You can just say hello, just even the fact that they know that you can even say hello or good evening, good afternoon, you will see the joy beaming on their face, because of course they're in the minority and many times they're neglected. So when they see just one person showing interest in them, they're so overwhelmed, because God loves them too, and many times it's not any fault of theirs that they are the way they are. It could have been the other way too. You on the giving side could have been on the receiving side. So yes, show them love as you learn. Show them that you care. Don't just do it because, okay, I want to show you that I know how to sign. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Now, don't hold back when you have the opportunity, but at the same time, you must be careful not to let pride come in, because the Bible says that God resists the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. So there could be that temptation to manifest. Yes. but ensure that you always like yourself that no, remain humble. It is God's mercy. It's not because you are very proficient or anything like that. No. Another thing to note is that I would advise those who want to learn, like adults, who have an interest in learning sign language or in fact any language. If you lost the opportunity and you have children or young people around you, please encourage them to learn because, like I said, it's a thing of the mind, true, but we cannot rule out the fact that God made nature such that a young child's mind is easier to write on. A young child's mind is tabula rasa, so it's a blank slate. Whatever you write on it is what is on it. Unlike you, who has a lot of stuff competing for space in your head and in your mind. So yes, you'll be feeling rusty definitely. If you're above, I don't know, there's no age to it. Like I said, it's a thing of the mind, but as much as possible, expose children to learning languages. It comes like they're on cruise. It doesn't have too much stress when a young child is learning language. They're able to pick very fast, unlike when an adult is learning. So yes, don't wait till you're rusty and you're old before you now start learning. And remember to be passionate. Passion is like fire, is energy, like for a combustion system, the engine of a car. It's fuel that will give you energy to move on. Be passionate about it. Like honestly, if you give energy while signing, they will return energy to you. Like it's easy to see passion, it's easy to see zeal, it's easy to see that. Of course, zeal and knowledge, you must balance it. Because you're learning, like be enthusiastic about what you're doing. Do it with joy, do it with zeal, do it with zest. Let there be life in it. In fact, anything at all you are doing, whatever your hands find to do, the Bible says do it with all your mind. Do it with everything in you. So if you are giving it anything, give it your all, 100%. When you are signing, spirit, soul, and body, your whole body is doing it. And that's the truth because when you sign, sometimes with the grace of God, by the time you finish, you know that yes, you've worked because your mind is working like it has to be very fast. Remember that you are signing from English to another language, and at times you are unable to get the. Remember, you are signing also in context, so you might learn words, you might know the vocabulary, but you must ensure that you are signing in context such that you are thinking of synonyms, you are thinking of antonyms, you are thinking of expressions, your face is doing the work, your hands are moving. It's like you're acting drama and sometimes like you're dancing. You are doing a lot at the same time. So it's real work. It's very demanding, very tasking. Of course, God's grace can make all the difference. But yes, give it your all. Be passionate. Do it with all your heart. Yes. So American Sign Language or sign language generally is a bit different from other languages because other languages, like I mentioned, you are speaking, but this one, you are doing it with all your body. Just put your mouth is just, of course, when you are signing, your mouth moves too because they read lips, but the majority of the work is in your entire body. So you need to understand the psychology of those who are trying to communicate with. Because many times when there is a deficiency in a person, balance makes it such that the person is trying to get even or to make up for that deficiency by being very acute in other areas. So because they sometimes feel disadvantaged, they feel like they're unable to be like other people. Little things can trigger some extreme emotions. So you want to be sensitive. That's the truth. So in anger, they could be extreme at times. In joy, expression of joy, laughter, something is funny and everybody has laughed and finished laughing and they're still laughing. It's not any fault of theirs, but it's just peculiarities that surround these special needs people. And that's because God just made them that way. So we need to be sensitive. When you want to share or communicate with them, you're not just doing it like this is the word that was said and this is what it is in sign language. No. You are doing it from a place of understanding. You are doing it from a place of love. You are doing it from a place of sensitivity. Finally, I want to emphasize again that we need to do it out of a place of love. We understand that this is a privilege. This is not a right. There was really nothing you could do about your hearing status. You just found out that you could hear. For some other people, they just found that they could not hear. So it's not their fault. It may not be even their parents' fault. It's just the way God made them for His own glory. He knows why that is so. So yes, let's do it from a place of love. Yes, you might want to get the skill as an additional language, or maybe for economic reasons too. It's not bad. But ensure that you are sensitive, ensure that you are not feeling above them, ensure that you understand that it's a privilege, it's not a right. So you want to serve with love and not just out of duty. You want to serve with a heart that is appreciative to God for your own ability to hear, Yeah. Am I missing anything else? I don't know. If you have any questions, please feel free. I don't know if I did not touch any part, but if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Let me hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, just hit it. It does not bite. Just hit the like button. Please comment below. Questions, anything I said that you don't agree with, maybe. And if you can sign, also let me know. Yes, let's know ourselves. Yes, until next time, keep loving Jesus, keep serving Him, and we'll meet again. Please share this video. And if you're not subscribed, we'll fight though. Please subscribe. Bye. Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up if it blessed you. Let's have your feedback in the comment section or through the email address tonicwiththefather@gmail.com. Please share this video with your friends far and wide. If you are yet to subscribe, please do so and encourage your friends to do same.